Hey everybody, we're back. It's actually next day. I was feeling a little tired there, decided to crash. So, where we're at was, got the, get it up here where you can see it. Got the marks for where the holes are going to go for the neck screws on the heel. And on the heel part of the body. And I took some measurements. This is what we're looking at for like thickness. The body's 13 millimeters. The heel of the neck is 22 millimeters to the bottom of the fretboard. So I've got a total of 35 millimeters of material to work with for the length of the screws. The plan is to go with a flathead Phillips wood screw, 2 of them, and go through the body entirely, and actually not have it like thread into the body, but just like barely push right through the hole so that you can, little wiggle so that you can get everything nice and straight. And then come up into the neck. You don't want to actually get all the way up there, so I'm going to be looking for something a little less than 35 millimeters long. And if need be, I can take a longer screw and if I have to, I can take a long screw and make them short with this. So that's the battle plan. Got my bag of screws here. I don't really have any really nice stuff right here, I don't think. I'm probably going to end up using a couple drywall screws. I mean, hey, they're strong enough. They've, got good enough bite and everything. And you paint them up, they look okay. I can always use them for now and then swap out, get some nicer hardware, order some nicer hardware online or whatever, or pop over to the hardware store, get something in a brass or something. But anyway, I'll be back. Got to find some screws. Okay, found some screws here. These are just plain old everyday wood screws, nothing fancy. I think they came out of wood screw assortment thing you buy at a big box. And these will do for now. I can paint them gold. I always replace them with something brass or something like that later on. But they'll do for now. Don't need to cut anything. And lengthwise, let's see here. They clock in at right about 30 millimeters. So, yeah, they're going to have about this much of the screw. Get my hand turned right there. About that much of the screw is going to be sticking up into the neck, roughly. And yeah, that looks real good. So yeah, it's going to look real good there. Right about the right length. Should work real good. And they're big enough and beefy enough. I probably got something a little bigger and chunkier in a brass, but the part that's not threaded on those is going to be so far down, I'm concerned about having enough thread. They'd also be longer. I'd have to cut them off and grind down the tip to make it pointy again. But yeah, these are more or less the perfect size for this job. So the only downside being that they're just, cheap steel. So, but a little bit of paint, they might look okay. Once they're painted, you got to be careful putting them in, and so you don't chip up the paint. But once you get them in, it should be all right. See how it goes. All right, so we got some screws. I need to get the scratch awl and the hammer and get some little starter divots going here. I'm going to drill this with to start with, I'll just use the smallest. Well, actually, I know what size screws I'm going to use now, so I can get proper pilot hole sizes going. But I'll drill that, and I need to, where'd the body go? Fill off the edge here. On the body, I'll go ahead and drill the neck holes as well. Mark them out with the awl first, get a spot going, then just drill them. And I'll just use a hand drill for this stuff. There's no real need to get with the drill press. It doesn't have to be, CNC machine straight kind of things, the way I wanted to get these guys for the headstock here. So, yeah, this turned out all nice and straight. But anyway, yeah, so that's the plan. Let me go drill some holes. I'll be right back. Soft stuff goes in way deep. Okay, that's that part. Okay, I'm starting with my second smallest bit just to get some holes going here. And then I can step up to bigger bits to get the right size holes. One. Now here I don't want to go all the way into the fretboard. What we got here? Where's that drawing? This thing's what, 22 deep? The thing's 30. That means we got about 20. We got 17 sticking through. Is that right? Yeah. 30 minus 13 is 17. Yeah, so we got 17 sticking through. It's 22 deep. I'll set it for a depth of 17. Sounds good. Still give me 4 mil. Okay, that's about where is it here? That's about 17 millimeters there. Definitely harder than the body would. Seem to be going any further, and I can feel a little something, so that right there might be the end of the truss rod. These things happen when you're doing 2-in line, so we're going to leave it there. That ended up what? Oh, let's call that 13 in out of 17, something like that. 13 or 14 millimeters down. This one should go all the way. Just going all the way. That should do there. Alright. Let me find the right size bits for these screws. The final size. I'll be right back. Okay. I think I'm going to go with this for the neck. It's pretty much the same size as that part of the screw right there. It's a pretty good match. And I'm not going to worry about chamfering the hole at all because this is really soft wood, so when I torque it down, it's probably just going to like self-chamfer. And then I'm going to go with this guy for the pilot hole in the neck. Oh, stupid camera. Okay, yeah, there you can sort of see. That's going to leave me a it's actually smaller than the solid portion of the screw down here, just a little smaller, and that'll give me a little bit of squeeze and a little bit more bite. This light's actually kind of bright. So yeah, that's the basic battle plan, and I can always go one larger if this, I might actually go one smaller. No, that's awfully small. I'm going to go here. So yeah, and if this turns out that I get it most of the way in and start to go, really doesn't want to turn even with wax, I can back it out and step up to the next size pilot hole. So yeah, better safe than sorry. So that's the battle plan. Let me get the drill hooked up. Okay. Get this thing in here. Really soft wood. Really soft wood. This thing's going to need some shimming and put it under under string tension, and then like probably more shimming. I think the bit's trying to wander on me. Yeah, it was trying to wander on me. Okay, now we got it. Really soft stuff. I'm just kind of holding it up there, and it's doing all the work by itself. I'm drilling through from the back side of the body to avoid tear out on the back side. To get the tear out, it will be underneath the neck. And there's your tear out, there and there. And that's underneath the neck where you'll never see it. So yeah, that's cool. Alright, so that's that part. Let's check our fit. Screw. It should just be almost a press fit. Yeah, looks good, looks good. Nice and tight, just a hair wiggle. That way you can take your neck and once you get it almost torqued down and tight, then you can adjust your neck angle this way. And then, because of the fact that it's a bolt-on, you can place shims under it and adjust your neck angle this way and get everything all perfectly lined up. So, let me go ahead and drill the neck here. Be right back. Okay, I decided to go down one size in pilot hole for the neck. I can always drill it bigger later if this turns out to be too small, but better safe than sorry, and better double safe than double sorry. And I'm only going to go down 15 millimeters, that way where'd my screw go? That way it's not going to be drilled like right at the very tip of the screw, and then it'll give it more wood to bite into. So And now this one's actually probably only going to go down about 13 because of the truss rod. So I'm going real gentle. Feels more or less taking itself. And just wait until there. I can feel it bottom out. All of a sudden the whole neck starts just shaking really in a solid manner from the tip of the bit touching the truss rod. Okay, so yeah, that's that one. And that also means that I'm going to want to nip a little bit off the end of this screw, just to be safe. So I will need those bolt cutters after all. And we'll go down 15 here. And that's it, except for stepping up in size on the pilot holes. This should be ready to bolt on. Let me figure out what's next. Okay, looks like now that I've got some neck holes in this thing, I can see better what's going on, and I know where I can remove material and where I can't in order to go ahead and round this out, so to speak, so that it matches up nicely with that and gets a nice little contour going on here. So Shinto rasp time, and then once the tail of, once the headstock part or the heel part of the body has been shaped, then it looks like the next thing is going to be the tuners. And the basic idea, these are like, old style tuners. So they got the ferrules, and they go in from the back with the screw. We'll have to take up some screws. I got screws. Still got a bunch of little gold screws. And so yeah, well, the way this is going to go is they're going to go kind of like this. Kind of an idea. Hi, Magellan. That's Magellan. He's my fat cat. He's a great explorer when he was a younger kitten. That's how I got his name. He's always off exploring the hood. But anyway, yeah, it's going to look something like that. I haven't exactly figured out what kind of space I'm going to use. It's not exactly even there, but it gives you an idea. And then, where'd the bridge go? Let me find the other parts here. Give me a bridge. Alright, so here's a bridge. And we've got a bridge line here. So, bridge is going to go about there. Then you got all this space, and as you can see, if you've got a string that's coming off this bridge, then it's got to go over to here. But you don't want it, you want it to have a nice straight string pull. So the plan is this. I've got these little brass nails, brads, whatever you call them. They've got a head on them, so I guess they're not really a brad. Hi, Prince. And I've been saving. Here we go. A bunch of these ball ends off of old guitar strings. And what you do is you put this through there, and you've got a little vertical, come on camera, focus. You got a, focus, you got a little vertical roller tree. And so I'll cut the string off, that gives me my little roller. And then I'm going to have, someplace, I guess back here, about halfway between the bridge and the tuners, there'll be a series of 6 pins with the vertical rollers, and the strings will come off the bridge go around the roller, and then off to the correct tuner. And that's the plan. And about the only thing that, no, I think I already checked that, but I will at some point double check to make sure the guitar string is actually long enough to reach, but I'm pretty sure it is. I might have to like get these inboard a little bit more in order to make sure there's enough, especially since these are not locking. But that's the basic idea. The good news is that up here you've got almost, you're only using up maybe an inch worth of string at the neck. I don't even know if that's even in camera. But yeah, at the neck, you're only going to be using maybe an inch worth of the string up. So I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure it's going to work out. So that's the plan. Let me go ahead and shape that heel. I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to start with the bevel on the back of this heel. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do this, whether I can just hold the work or whether I need to clamp it down or what, so I'll be back. Alright, well this seems to work good enough. Let me see what I can do here. What's the camera looking at now? A can of shellac. And piece of plastic trash next to it. Some kind of guitar parts. So this should be more or less in the center of the frame here. Okay. I've just got this sitting across my legs here. I'm going to be at this kind of an angle. And as long as I keep the distance here and here about even, this should end up as a more or less level bevel. So I've got to be constantly adjusting the file back this way and that way to make sure I'm cutting it flat more or less. See how this end is starting to approach the end of the line here, which is where I want the slope to end. I want all this to be flat and pristine. But it definitely has more to come down on this end. Is the camera picking any of this up? Yeah, it is. Cool. Yes. More off of this side. A lot more. A lot more. If it was any bigger, I'd get like a grinder or something. Maybe I should have taken a coping saw to it first. That wasn't going to take off. Elbow grease, so to speak. Yeah. You get the idea. Let me carve on this for a sec. I'll be back. Okay, that's... Hold on, let me do something about this light. It's a little overpowering. That's a little better. Okay, yeah, so there it is. This is good enough for the file. Left a little bit at the end. You don't want it to chip off. And once this is sanded, it'll be all nice and smooth and everything. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit the sides a little bit, and I'll be right back. Okay, there it is. Got the sides. It's now, once again, the light's intense, but yeah, it's all rounded here now. So, come here, light. So yeah, as you can see, it's all rounded here. Just sculpted a little bit. Still leaving room for the screws. Still going to match up nicely with the neck. Just like that. Kind of a thing. And, yeah, just about like that. And now I need to sand it down smooth. And then once these two are screwed together, it'll all pretty much feel like one piece of wood. You won't even notice like the little gaps there, especially since the gaps won't be sharp, they'll be rounded. So let me hit this up with the sander right quick. Be right back. Okay, all sanded down nice and smooth. And yeah, it's nice and smooth. Nice and smooth. So yeah, that'll be a nice heel. And so let's see, that takes care of the woodworking on the heel area. I guess the tuners are going to be next. Okay, I was going to bolt up the neck so that I could check that question about string length and the tuners and stuff. And got some Johnson paste wax on the screws, but yeah, the pilot holes are too small. Doesn't want to go all the way in. So yeah, I'm going to back it out, get the drill back out, step up the next size hole. I'll be back. Okay, we're all straight here now. I actually stepped up 2 sizes on the pilot hole for the neck, and I clipped this one shorter with the bolt cutters, and I put it together. I wasn't really pleased with the alignment of the neck versus the body here at the heel. It still could use a little wiggling or something, but yeah, it's probably best to, it's because I drilled them separately by measuring them out instead of like getting the body and the neck shaped and putting them together, and then deciding where my holes were and then drilling both the neck and the body simultaneously to get a real nice alignment between the two, feel-wise, at the back of the heel here. So, but I can always like come in with the grinder and just hit all this at once now that it's bolted together and kind of smooth it into one thing. But yeah, the alignment and everything on it looks good now. The row dots is running in a straight line with the center line and everything, so it's all lined up, and the neck and the heel feels good. So I might just leave it alone. It's hard to say. But anyway, yeah, now it's on. So now I'm going to see if the strings will, how far the strings reach. Yeah, what I did to adjust the neck is I could have done 2 things. I either could have like slotted or re-drilled these larger or whatever, but then since they don't have any kind of cover plate or anything, that might show. So what I did is I came in with the drill, and more or less I wanted to shift everything that direction a little bit. So I came in with the drill and just drilled 2 more pilot holes right adjacent to the existing ones, kind of connected them, and then I shimmed over on this side with a couple of toothpicks in order to, that would relocate the screws more over in that direction, and that moved the body over this way a little bit, and feels real good now. So, yeah, and it's all straight too. So, that's what I did there. Yeah, like I said, it's probably better to put it all together. Really, the best thing to do is, like, you would take it and you would take the two pieces and you do your final shaping with them already bolted together, and then it, like I said, that makes it look like one piece and feel like one piece, and gives you more or less an invisible seam, except for differences in the wood type. So, all right, let me get some strings going, see how long this thing is. Okay, got a set of my favorite strings here. Been using these things for, well, let's say I've been playing for 43 years in February, and I've switched these things within the first couple of years. So, yeah, probably been using them over 40 years now. 8s. Got a set of 7s. Sevens go. There they are. Yeah, I gotta try these out too. A set of 7s. Still haven't. I'll figure out something. Maybe I'll put them on the vintage telly build. That'd be cool. Very ZZ, right? Alright, so here we go. We got a 38. Guess one's as good as the next. Maybe I should check it with a number 1 and number 6 to be safe, but we'll see what happens. So if we're like here, and we get to see if where'd the light go? This thing on?